Too sweet! Hi, welcome to JD Sports. I'm Jared Hood. That's Dwight Garfield. You can find our Twitters at the show's Twitter page, which is @_JD Sports. This week, Dwight.
The worst day of my life.
It is the NBA Finals. Well, first of all, how was your weekend? Same old, same old. Yeah. All right, I understand. I had a good weekend. I went to the Phillies game, got drunk, and then Sunday I watched the Game 7 with you. Getting into Game 7, the Cavaliers. Throughout LeBron's whole career, it's always been he had to do it himself, he had to do it himself, he had to do it himself. In Game 7, I mean, you had so many other key players come up big. Kyrie with the shot, obviously. Kevin Love with the 14 rebounds, which that was the biggest game of the season for him, and he has in Game 7 of the Finals, which LeBron needed his big three to come together and do that. Tristan Thompson was dominating on the boards. I said to you during the game that I thought he would be, the boards were being the difference early, and it ended up being a really big game.
It was the same story. That's Golden State's story, dude. It was a problem, and it really showed its head against OKC.
Yeah, Oklahoma City handled
the
them.
offensive rebounds are just disgusting. They give up too many rebounds.
Yeah. Walking in Sunday, one of the first things we talked about, I thought that Curry had to at least score what LeBron did, and he didn't, so that ended up being a difference as well. But you go through the list of things. I mean, J.R. Smith ended up having a pretty big second half for the way the series unfolded for him. Nobody really made a shot late for either of them except the Kyrie. That was the only one in the last 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So it's not like, the offensive output was the big thing. It was just a little bit of everything else. I mean, even Amon Shumpert hit that big three in the second quarter where he fell down, got fouled on it, things like that. It was just, he had a little bit of everything. LeBron did come up big, though. I mean, he had his signature moment, I would say, with that block from behind, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple of them. There was like
two or three of those. Absolutely. He had
but the one that everybody's talking about, was that against Iggy?
Yeah. And Iggy even, it's hard to say, like, everyone's like trying to criticize him, saying he went up slow this, that, and the next thing. LeBron came out of nowhere. There's just really...
I know.
Yeah?
I know you're going to feel some type of way, but they are saying that I'm not saying it's an excuse. I don't even know if it's true or not, but they are saying that Iggy, and his back is messed
absolutely,
up.
No question.
He was a little slow, but it doesn't change the fact that LeBron just swatted the hell out of it.
He jumped from a ridiculous distance to get that ball, no matter how slow Iggy went up for it or not. I mean, that was just unbelievable. But those are the kind of random things that you're used to seeing LeBron James do. That was a little excessive for him. He went up for that dunk, and I even was like, no, like really loud when he went up for it, because I just thought that it was too much. He went too hard, and it was all that, and then his whole body came down on his wrist. I thought it was reckless, honestly, and that's not what LeBron James does, but he was just... The adrenaline
that's probably. I want to see him.
Yeah, I understand that. And that's what everyone wants to see him. The adrenaline.
I don't want to see the Jays, bro.
Yeah, I would assume the adrenaline pushed him to jump that high. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him get up that high. Vince Carter gets up that high and things like that, but I mean, it's very rare to see, especially in game in the middle of the lane. Draymond made a really nice play on him. I mean, it's a foul, but he stopped him from having one of those ridiculous moments. If LeBron finishes that, it's just we're talking about a whole different legend probably at this moment, but. Different day, different conversation.
Anyway.
As I said, he had all the help in the world, but I do think down the stretch, LeBron controlled most of that game defensively. Offensively...
Defensively, absolutely.
And offensively, the last, like I said, 4 minutes, 20 seconds, neither of them scored. He was going to the hole, though, and he ended up with
attacking. He was doing exactly what I've been saying. Yeah. The man needs to do.
That's what you always wanted to do.
He did it.
Yeah, he did.
Look, so...
They won.
They won. I mean, you can't take that away from him. He balled out. He had a great 2 or 3 games. What was it, 3 games? Where he had. It's cool. I get it.
Do you think, okay, because here's my theory, right? Last Sunday, I went to the Beyonce concert, and I wore this shirt. I usually don't wear a t-shirt on our show, but, I had the LeBron shirt on this week.
I just don't seem to care then, I guess.
Well, he...
Is that writing our checks?
No, absolutely not. We can wear what we want on here. You can come on without a shirt if you would like.
I would love to do that. We might get more views if we do that.
Go for it. I'm in. Anyways.
Hashtag no shirts.
Hashtag. Well, I'm going to wear a shirt, but you don't have to wear a shirt.
Let's get a hashtag going. Hashtag Dwight no shirt.
Hashtag Dwight no shirt. Hit us up on Twitter. But I wore this shirt to the Beyonce concert, right? And they were down 3-1, and I thought all week, I was like, if they get swept is the only way I won't wear the shirt. And I was like, oh, well, they're down 3-1. Obviously, why would I say in my head if they get swept I won't wear it? Now I have to wear it. So down 3-1, I was like, you know what? I'm going to support LeBron, whatever. After I wore the shirt to the Beyonce concert, he turns it around. You think there's a little bit of, you think that's a coincidence or a little mojo?
You're the conspiracy theorist, so I probably buy into that.
I'm just saying. I think there's something to it.
I'm just saying I need to burn this shirt that you're wearing.
But I did support him, and I actually did think, I said at that time during our show, we both said that they had a punter chance, obviously, because we knew Draymond was out, and then you got to figure whatever happens after that.
That's just. I think it's. I don't know. It's easy to say that now, but looking back,
we neither of us.
You're down
said that
3-1.
Yes, it's the most.
That's not even a conversation. I don't care if Draymond's in it or not. Like, they're the first team ever to come back from down 3-1. So obviously, it's so easy now to say, "Oh, yeah, I was crazy, I was stupid," because it's LeBron. No, it's not, because he didn't start balling out until he was down 3-1. Him and Kyrie, who for some reason he's not getting. I don't feel like he's getting near the amount of credit that he should be getting.
Kyrie?
No, not at all. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't feel like he's getting that credit.
A ton. The last 3 games, the difference was, like, what did I say coming on here? When they were down 3-1, what I said, the whole blame needs to go on Kyrie going 5 of 16 in 2 of those.
Yeah,
4 games.
He was trashed the first, 2-3 games?
4 games even, but he had a decent one, game in there in the middle, a decent one, not a good
one.
And they won in that middle game in that series. But I said him and K-Love were the difference, and I thought they needed both to come back, but Kyrie ended up just saying, I'll put it all on my back, and him and LeBron did it together. I think that heightened LeBron's offense, made it easier for him to score, easier to go to the basket. He actually had better jump shots. But yeah, Kyrie was the difference in those last 3 games, absolutely, because he wasn't going 5 of 16, he was going 11 of 16.
Dude, he was just
way different.
He was clowning Curry.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, immediately as soon as I saw that, I was like, I don't want to say it, but I kind of understood where Westbrook was coming from defensively, because Kyrie was just clowning about it. Kyrie was just like, oh, well,
right.
Yeah, y'all talk about Westbrook, you talk about Steph, but you forget, I'm also an alpha. I also was holding it down while LeBron wasn't here. I was still putting up these numbers.
He was their only good player that they got, and then they drafted Wiggins right after him a year or 2 after. But he was really the only legit notable player that they got before LeBron came there. I mean, Deion Waiters was their other big player before. Like that's not good. So, but Kyrie was really good, stood out, has the skills, whatnot. The injuries were always a thing with him. Through college, you didn't get to see him at his best in Duke, which would have been awesome because that was actually a decent Duke team. But just move forward with Kevin Love and J.R. Smith and Richard Jefferson. Those guys coming up behind him in Game 7. You said that you don't think Kyrie's getting enough credit. I don't think any of those guys are getting talked about for their one-game performance, because I think that Kyrie deserved. It goes LeBron, Kyrie, and then the rest of them, especially even in Game 7. But those guys all stepped up, and even Tyronn Lue making the substitutions at the times that he did, making sure Shumpert was in and out there, things like that. Just You said they found a way. Kyrie was clowning Curry. Those guys were all doing the picks. They were getting Curry and Thompson and Draymond Green. They were moving them around the whole time until Curry was rotated onto either LeBron or Kyrie, and then one of those would handle him.
The first 3 or 4, whatever it was, the first 3 or 4 games where you were arguing, you were saying they're not moving.
No, they were moving around.
Just letting LeBron and Kyrie just play one-on-one basketball. It changed after Game 4. It changed.
To their credit.
Absolutely. And
Tyronn Lue? Maybe. LeBron?
I don't know.
Kyrie. All of them. I don't want to discredit everything we just said, because we went, we go on for days about all these great things that Cleveland did and all the things that LeBron did. But yes or no, the Warriors were part of what happened here. I mean, 2 of the last 3 games, they went ice cold at home. They went ice cold on the road in the 4th quarter.
Right.
In all 3 of those games, they went ice cold in the 4th quarter. Only scored 13 in 2 of them. I mean,
it's horrible. Harrison Barnes goes 5 of 32.
He wants a new contract this offseason.
Does he want Michelle Beadle's contract?
Oh,
because he ain't getting that. I hear she makes big money. Hashtag eat that textbook.
Hashtag eat the textbook. Hashtag love, because she's not about love. Anyways.
Hashtag love.
Anyways.
Hashtag love that textbook.
Eat the textbook.
Hashtag love eating that textbook.
Speaking of ESPN people, Skip Bayless, quickly, because we'll get back into this. Skip Bayless said that the Spurs could beat this Cavs team.
This year's Spurs?
Yeah, he said the Spurs could beat this Cavs team.
I mean, they lost to the Warriors. I mean, I don't know.
No, they lost to Oklahoma City, even worse. And they got embarrassed. They went 6. They got embarrassed. Now, the Game 6 was close, but
a healthy Spurs team? I don't know. That's so hypothetical. I'm not going to say he's an idiot. I'm not going to agree with him, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Anyways.
We were talking about how they were a threat to get to the finals.
I had the Spurs winning it, and I picked them, but I stuck with it only because I picked them before the
I had them get to the conference finals.
But
so I mean,
honestly, I don't
think it's too far. I don't know.
I don't think it's far-fetched, but no.
I think Skip he gets a lot of flack. At the end of the day, he's what you like, which is a personality. He has his own opinion. He has his own personality. Is he extreme at times?
Don't agree on a lot of things. I think
absolutely. He's very extreme.
I have a lot of things
but he's entertaining.
I have a lot of things that I would definitely like to come back with and hear what he would have to say back. But I you know what I think, honestly, my thing with him is I just think he's closed-minded. He's not open. In the things he doesn't like, he is never open to hearing the other side of their stories. You know what I'm saying? He's never open to...
Oh, he's worse than you. He has an answer for everything.
I know. It's
worse than you.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But I'm at least trying to be positive at most points. He's just trying to always shut people down. I never really try to shut, things down. I'm always trying to move forward. He's always the exact opposite. He's trying to tear people down.
He's never lost a debate according to him.
What do I always say? Love. Anyways, but the Warriors, quickly, right? Because I'm about to not give love to them. Let me give love to somebody.
They don't deserve any love.
Draymond Green deserves love. He was one assist away from a triple-double. He got a triple-double in Game 6 last year when they won the series in Cleveland. Outside of him, nobody stepped up. I said that Curry needed to match LeBron. He didn't. Steph didn't. Steph Curry and then Klay Thompson. Mm-hmm. He didn't. I mean, it's hard to say. Game 7, they didn't come up big, right? Both of them scored over 10, but both of them scored under 20.
But Draymond.
That also happened in the first game, and they won the first game. Draymond, yes. Draymond was unbelievable.
He was the MVP.
Sean Livingston took a lot of really bad shots. He needed to get him off the court quicker. Barnes took obviously a ton of bad shots. They were asking Barnes to shoot. They literally were just leaving him open, saying, "Take it, please. We want to." And then and then the Cavaliers were getting the boards. I mean, that was the issue. That was the biggest issue.
He was dropping shots. So I guess it comes down to, because we're on a Golden State situation, I already know where it's going to, and we might as well bring it up. And I'm gonna bring it up because I've been on this Golden State bandwagon, whatever. I've been on this since second or third month of the year, whatever it was. Steph Curry presents the NBA. That's what I came up with. Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
So I gotta say it just because I'm not gonna be a hypocrite, and I think it is what it is. I think if you're in a situation where you're down, where you're up to 3-1, and you lose 2 games at home in the finals, especially a Game 7, the only word for you is exactly what I said about OKC. In the same situation, you choked. There's no way around it. You choked.
I hear you.
I don't care what team it is. I don't care how. Okay, so you have the best record in the history of the NBA.
Yes.
Regular season wise, you beat the '96 Bulls, which now this is kind of null and void. Nobody cares.
They are the greatest team of all time.
Absolutely. You have the back-to-back 2-time defending MVP.
Yep. Unanimous this year.
Unanimously, the first in history. You have a guy like Klay Thompson who could easily be an MVP in his own right.
He would be the star on any other team, the number one shooter on any team, outside of the Warriors.
You got the coach of the year.
Who only coached 34 games.
You might as well, if there was a thing, the assistant coach of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to go over to the Lakers this year.
You have you have the most, on paper I still say, the most stacked
they have the best roster. Lineup. They have the best lineup.
Start to finish.
The deepest lineup.
There's nothing else other than the word choke, in my opinion. What else do you do? What else is it in a situation where you have all these factors, you're up to 3-1? It's a choke job. This is what they did. Where's Reggie Miller?
Okay. You know me. I'm always hard pressed to not try to find something else involved with it. I see what you're saying, because honestly, look, no matter if Steph was hurt or not, 17 points in Game 7, you need to match LeBron, and it's hard to say, hey, unfortunately, whether you were feeling kind of injured or not, you had big games. You had big games earlier in the series, less than a week before. LeBron's body can't be feeling too well either. He took as many cross-coast flights, which I said the only way they can come back is him doing what he did, and I thought it was going to be impossible with all the cross-coast flights, and then the physical attribute that he had to do. Curry looked like he was run down from that, yeah?
Curry had the same body early on, and they were winning, so... Yes. And he was putting up the same numbers.
And that's what I'm saying. I do... And
what's the excuse?
I think there's a chemical of things
happening here.
Is that an excuse,
or did they just choke?
And I don't... Because, look, he had 30 points in Game 6, and you know what? It's
so how hard are you if you put up 30 points?
It turns into an odd 30 points in Game 6 because he fouled out, and he actually ends up looking like the bad goat. You know what I'm saying? You know how you use goat and goat? he ends up looking like the not so good GOAT, right? In Game 6, at the end of Game 6, the way that happened, he looked like they rattled him, they shook him a little bit, and he ended up having 30 points in that game. So it's hard to say like, okay, if he was feeling it, like he still had a big game then. And like you said earlier in the series, how big of games was he having? So I'm not saying that, but also I think something else that goes involved with it, the Draymond thing in Game 6. Game 5, and then Bogut getting hurt in Game 5.
Exactly.
I think that hurts the series as well. And then also the combination of Iguodala not being maybe 100%. You're losing a big defender down low in Bogut. You're losing a defender in Iguodala.
Yeah.
If Curry was feeling some kind of way, then it was getting covered up by the things that they were doing before. Sean Livingston taking really bad shots in Game 7 doesn't help. Things like that.
So you lose you basically lost your top 3 defenders in some capacity.
Yeah, right.
Iggy, you lost. Well, Iggy was hurt. You could tell.
You lost
Bogut's
attributes
out
from all of them,
and
when you needed it.
The other dude,
Green.
Draymond, he was out for a game, which...
Right. But he blames himself for that, and I love Draymond Green because he took full responsibility. Look, I said it to you, I think that he is the MVP of their team overall. Yes, Steph deserved the MVP this year because of the records he broke, the 7
Absolutely.
We can go all day about what he did in the regular season.
It's not a
but
question.
Draymond made them completely run if you're going to talk about what made them win the most and what was their best thing going throughout the finals. Yet he ends up coming out with that big game in Game 7. It wasn't enough, but...
It wasn't enough because he was the only one out there.
For missing Game 5, and he shouldn't. We talked about it. I said that I thought he deserved it at that time because you can't walk the line that he kept walking and then do that for a third time, even though they let you kind of off on the last time. It just turns into a really bad situation, and it did. It turned the way the series went because it gave the Cavaliers all the confidence in the world, and then Bogut gets hurt. So when he wasn't there down low and it was just Bogut, LeBron took advantage of that, and then when Bogut wasn't there.
That's the thing. Like nobody's trying to make excuses here for Golden State. Not at all. Because, like I said, I think they choked. But when you look at it, when Steph has failed, he's had everybody else to fall back on. He's had the Clay game. He's had the Barnes game. Everybody else will step up. This game, it was one person.
Clay in Game 6 in Oklahoma City was completely by himself. He had that huge third quarter. He ended up scoring 37 throughout the game, but I think he had 24 in the third. Like just incredible outputs by them throughout the entire postseason that got them there, and then even to that moment.
And then Draymond was the only one in Game 7, so I mean, Steph had nothing to fall back on for his bad game, and that's the result of it. He didn't ball out the way that he's capable of, and did even in the series, at least for one game, whatever.
Yeah.
But he had nothing to fall back on this time. So as a whole, I think that's just a perfect argument to say that they choked in front of their hometown, and that's unfortunate. But it is what it is. The better team won.
And it was an epic Game 7.
When it gets to 7 and you win on the road, the better team won.
LeBron had a triple-double. I mean, it's hard. It's like when things like that happen in any factor, it doesn't matter who he's playing with, his team's always going to have a shot to be even the best team in the game right now. Like if he gets a triple-double throughout a game, chances are that means LeBron is on as bad as it looked throughout three quarters because he didn't hit a jump shot until the middle of the fourth. But
I mean, he was kind of doing the same thing last finals, but he didn't have.
This final.
Yeah, he didn't have the help that he had with Kyrie this year.
Okay, well, quickly, because we were talking about Curry, and I want to talk about Curry, but I think it's just going to more twist into. I said I want to bring it back to, and not to, well, if we want to dive back into the Warriors, we will, but LeBron's legacy, now that we're talking about him, right? Moving forward, okay? He's at a point right now where, like, to me, that was the most impressive individual sports feat I've ever seen, because, like, he did it against a team that won 74 games. Well, can you name another? I mean, no. Listen what the stacks up with. He did it against a team that won 74 games. He was down 3-1. He had.
It wasn't just him, but yeah, I feel you.
He led the entire series for both teams in the top 5 categories: points, assists, blocks, steals, rebounds. He led both teams from both. I mean, and that's never happened ever in the NBA. In the NBA, any series, a 5-game series, a 7-game series.
Because most of those stats came in 3 games, but I hear you.
Well, he almost had a triple-double in Game 1. People forget that. Like Skip Bayless said earlier, he wasn't anywhere to be found in those first 4. He almost averaged a triple-double in those first 4 games. Like he had.
He wasn't shooting that well, but I mean.
But he was still.
I said, I think I told you before when we were watching early on.
He scored over 20 points in all those games, though.
And I was
saying. He scored over 20 points in all those games.
Right, and what I was saying was that was an efficient 20 points.
Those first 4 games, he actually wasn't too inefficient because he wasn't taking a lot of jump shots. He started taking a lot of jump shots late in 2 of the blowouts. That's why his numbers look really bad. But
numbers don't lie.
Yeah, but either
No,
way,
like I'm saying, like I'm not.
he
balled out the last 3 games, but I'm not gonna sit here and act like he had a great series.
I don't think he played. See,
I think last year he had a great series.
He elevated. He
just had the help this year.
He elevated. I don't disagree with that. He elevated on defense. I think through those last 3
Game
games.
7, I'll give him that.
But in the entire series, Kyrie hitting more shots opened up for him to do more things offensively. That's why his points were higher than before. But I don't think he was playing any different offensively through those first 4 games than through those last 3 games. But that's the thing, is that when he's losing, doing the same things that he does when he wins, people argue with me about, well, it doesn't look all good. But when he's winning, I don't see a difference in those. Yes, he scored more points, and yes, he went to the basket a little more. But Kyrie hitting those shots, it was LeBron going with the flow of the game just as much as he was before. He wasn't taking those opportunities in those first 4 games because he wasn't getting those opportunities in those first 4 games. They were presented to him in those last 3 games, and I think that was the difference. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I get it, but when you say that, I'm also about the mindset of like, you the chosen one, you the king, and you are this freak of nature.
But then when
create your own opportunities.
Okay, yes, but when he did it, then
take it.
But when he did it, then it's but he had help, and when he doesn't do it, it's he has. No,
I want him to. This is the biggest criticism I have of him, is that I don't feel like he has the drive where he's just going to be that killer, the Kobe or that Jordan killer. I don't see that, and if he would show that a little more, I like that. I want that out of him.
Those last 3 games, he showed.
I would give him Game 7, especially. Yes, especially the last half.
Those last 3 games are the 3 of the best final games he's ever played of his career.
When he shows up, when he is on his A game mentally, he is on point. But when he's not, I don't like it. And more often than not, I feel like his mental game isn't on point. Has it gotten better with his career? Yes, absolutely. But is it still like questionable at times? I feel like that's very valid as well.
Well, the reason that I say that I think it's the most impressive individual feat in sports, in a team sport that I've ever seen, is because they had an 8% chance of winning. And yes, while Kyrie stepped up, the way that he just absolutely threw everything on his back and said, all right, and it made everybody else around him better. But we talked about how everyone else got in there throughout the rest of it, right? I mean, do you think him jawing back at them and things like that, like kind of... Because he didn't step down. When they were down 3-1 and they were jawing at him, he still was talking back. Do you think that kind of got the rest of his team like, okay, we really, literally have to do a little bit?
I don't know.
All right.
I don't really know.
I mean, again,
I don't think he really has that kind of power. I think it's more so star. Did the Cavaliers do the part and close the deal? Yes, absolutely. Can't take it away from him. Mm-hmm. I also think that it goes both ways. I think the Cavaliers stepped up, did what they were supposed to do, and the Warriors just choked it out.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Legacy-wise, right? Would you put him in the top 5 all time?
This question.
That's what everyone keeps talking about.
Remember when we had the conversation about the greatest quarterbacks, and I was just like, this is a ridiculous conversation? It's kind of similar. I might go so far as to say he might be the greatest small forward of all time.
I think he's definitely the greatest small forward of all time.
Do I think he's better than Jordan? We're not having that conversation.
I don't think he's better than Jordan.
Don't disrespect the actual king.
I think at age 31, he has a more impressive resume than Jordan. But I mean, he has. His career needs to end. If he picked up and retired Barry Sanders-wise today, I think the argument would be it would turn into, could he be better than Jordan? And I don't know. I do think that his resume right now at the age of 31 is better than Jordan's resume at the age of 31. But at the same time, Jordan ends up with 6 Finals MVPs. So
6-0. And it's funny because I need to make this point as well. A lot of people always talk about, well, look at all the stats that LeBron has passed in Jordan, especially in the postseason. He's played an extra 20 games already from Jordan.
Isn't that credit to him, though, for making it like that?
Or is it a credit to Jordan that he just closed it out quicker?
Jordan, yes or no, Jordan had better teams all the time, yeah?
96 was fantastic. 97 was fantastic.
Jordan had better teams throughout. Outside of the first couple years of his career, I would say that they were even. Like Miami was better than Jordan's early part of his career, but
this is probably blasphemy at this point. I still think that Miami team was better than this team that just won.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think I don't know. I could look at a situation where because I don't think when Jordan beat the Lakers for his first championship, I don't think that team was stacked by any means.
They were favored. They were favored to beat that Lakers team.
I don't think it was stacked by any means. Yeah, because Magic Johnson was on his last legs. I get that, but no, not at all. I think
Magic got retired in his prime because of AIDS. Magic had another 5 years left in him.
All that.
That's the truth.
It is the truth.
He had 5 years left in him. He was in the middle of his prime when Jordan beat him. No, that was Jordan's coming out. But that was Jordan's coming out party. That's what made Jordan. That's what started the Jordan legend. Is that he beat Magic. Like he beat Magic, and nobody.
When we talk about the greatest Jordan teams, people are talking about 96. 97.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They're talking about the back-to-back against Utah.
All right, but my point is, here's where I was going with that, right? Because you said the 6-0 in the finals, and my thought process is Jordan was also swept in the first round, lost in the first round 3 times, which LeBron has never done, and he made it to the playoffs.
LeBron has had his fair failures, so
I will never discredit that. I completely agree with that. But I'm saying
job against Boston.
Hold on, but do we hold it against
finals against the Mavericks?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is, are we holding the fact that LeBron lost in the finals 4 times higher than Jordan lost 3 times in the first round and got swept in one of them?
No, and here's
you know what I'm saying? Like, why do we hold that against him, but we don't hold it against the other one? I don't think it's fair to hold it against either of them because I think it's impressive. Jordan took a bad team with a losing record to the playoffs, and that's why they got swept. And LeBron, the reason that he has a bad finals record is because he fucking played for. He played for 2 bad. He played for 2 really bad Cavs teams, one because they're injured, and then he choked the other one away.
So, like you say with LeBron, you say LeBron didn't have help.
I'm not saying throughout his career.
No. I'm saying right. He didn't have the help early on. Jordan didn't have that help. And 1, 2, I think LeBron gets the flack, and nobody talks about this, but I'm gonna talk about this because this is why a lot of the flack I have for LeBron.
Okay.
Don't call yourself the chosen one. Don't embrace it. Don't all this. The chosen one, the tattoo on your back, the king. Who says that?
Sports Illustrated, and that's why he did it.
And he embraced it. He accepted it. He never shot it down.
He always said he wanted to be Michael
Jordan.
Don't
embrace.
He always said he wanted to be
until last playoff series when he was when he was losing.
I'm not MJ. I'm LJ. You know what he said? Something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, he said I'm not Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Because Phil Jackson told him to put his cape on and be Superman, be Michael Jordan.
But here's my thing is that. Yes or no? And this is like I'm trying to have you be as unbiased as possible here.
I think I'm being very unbiased right now.
No, I agree. I'm saying I'm like this next statement.
Maybe that's just me.
Did Michael Jordan ever do what he just did?
As far as what?
Just that
because Michael Jordan had the best teams in the league when he was breaking these records.
Okay. Do you think Michael Jordan could have elevated his team to that? See,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean when I look at the mental Okay, so we're talking about the mental game, I'm assuming. Yeah, absolutely. Jordan's mental game is here, then it's Kobe. LeBron is even in that conversation for me. I'm sorry. Mentally. Has he gotten better? Yeah, I will give him that credit. Yes, absolutely. He's gotten a lot better with his mental toughness game.
All right, but is he physical actually playing the game of basketball?
He's a physical freak.
Could have Jordan done what he just did in those last 3 games?
Jordan was also a freak in 96.
I don't disagree. I do not disagree. I think putting them at their prime would be very interesting. I think
probably interchangeable as far as who can play in what era. I think they could both play in either era.
As I said.
And dominate the same way.
Until LeBron ends his career, I'm never really going to be able to tell you who I think is better. I think that MJ is the GOAT because, LeBron still has years left. If LeBron were to end his career right now or if he were to have a bad next 3 years, obviously he wouldn't be Michael Jordan. There's no way he could be the GOAT, right?
I'll tell you right now, LeBron can win out the rest of his career, and I will still.
See, I disagree.
I'm not going to disrespect Michael Jordan for what he did. He did a lot more than just fucking.
You always get mad at me for this, but I always try to look at what's happening and trending in sports. And honestly, I think the trend is going in the fact of the way that his numbers are, and the way that he now has 3 MVP finals, and the way that people are starting to
millennials are saying all this.
No, I think a lot of the older generation is starting to say. I mean, there was just a player the other day. There was just a player who played against him the other day, Jay Williams from ESPN. He even said it. I know, but listen, what I'm trying to tell you is that Scottie Pippen said that he thinks that LeBron James might be better than Michael Jordan. Like it's starting to go in that direction. I don't know if it's going to happen. I'm just saying that
it's funny how the conversation changes by one game because it's funny how you can be down 2-5 in your finals record and make it what was he 3-4 now?
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the narrative changed like that.
You understand how ridiculous I think.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
And you also know that. You know that, but while they were down 3-1, I still stated the fact that I thought that
up until
they are the number 1 and number 2 greatest players of all time. And when LeBron was down 3-1 in the finals, I said that. So this doesn't change it for me. I still think they're the number 1 and number 2 players of all time. And I don't know who's better because LeBron has so much left in him. Or if he doesn't have so much left in him, he won't be MJ.
Like I said, 2 things. 1, I will never say that anybody's better than Michael Jordan.
Okay.
And then 2, in saying that, as hypocritical as this is going to probably sound after I just said that, I think the conversation is kind of ridiculous. Just like I said about the Super Bowl, about the quarterback conversation. Who's the greatest quarterback? I don't know.
I think it's kind of fun, but I think it gets ridiculous. I think it's kind of fun because guys like you and I, look, we go back and forth on the Sixers tanking and we have a lot of fun, but a lot of people take things like that too serious. A lot of people take the LeBron and the MJ thing too serious back and forth. There is no...
Yeah, my opinion is my opinion, your opinion is your opinion.
But we both agree that there's really no right answer because... what are you going to do? Like, what do you
I think my answer is correct, but I mean, I'm not mad about it.
Right.
Whatever.
Now, you said that you don't think anybody could ever be better than Michael Jordan. If you had a Mount Rushmore, would you throw LeBron on there, though? Because I said about the top 5 thing. If you had a rank
Mount Rushmore, so what we got?
There'd be 4 there, but I mean...
So we got Jordan. We would have Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
I would put Shaq on there. Wilt. Well, maybe Wilt. He might be in there. All right, let's go positional. That'll make it easier.
Okay.
So, Jordan, shooting guard.
Okay.
Shaq, center. All
Okay.
right, well, interchangeable, whatever you want to do. I'm going with Shaq.
All right.
Point guard, Magic.
Mm-hmm.
Power forward. I'd probably go Duncan.
Mm-hmm. Small forward.
Small forward is either LeBron or Larry Bird.
Okay.
That's the only conversation anybody has. Scottie Pippen doesn't get the credit he deserves, but I mean, he's not. He's a different.
He's
type.
right behind those two.
Yeah,
He's behind.
yeah. He'd be number 3 in that list. Is he up for debate in the conversation? Yes. If I'm looking positional, absolutely. Would I take him over Larry Bird? I don't know. I didn't see enough of Larry Bird to really have that opinion.
I understand.
In all fairness, and if I want to be kind of objective, I would say historically, people look at LeBron's defense a lot better than they do Larry Bird's.
Yeah,
not saying that he was a weak
that.
defender,
Right.
but LeBron's just a whole
Larry
another
Bird,
level.
Larry Bird, and this isn't. I don't know if he was a good
LeBron-
defender or not. Larry Bird
could just
of
he
the
could
great
shoot.
defense with him. You know what I mean?
Right, and Larry Bird was just lights out from.
Yeah, he could shoot
He was
from
the best shooter until Steph
Before it
Curry
was
came
3-point
around.
shots, he was shooting behind that arc, and then they made the arc, and he just dominated it.
Didn't Larry Bird come out and say that LeBron was better than him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, then if he's saying it, then damn, what am I going to say?
I don't disagree with that.
Oh,
I forgot what I was going to say.
he's in the conversation. LeBron is in the conversation of one of the best of all time. Is he the best of all time? I think no. Could you make the argument? Sure.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think, but I will never put anybody above Michael Jordan because to me that's just a whole nother stratosphere.
I'm not, and I don't think this proves anything or changes anything. You know how I'm a numbers guy. The numbers of win shares, Michael Jordan was 117 and LeBron is like 197. So if you're going off of that, that's incredible. But I don't know what that means because if LeBron was on a team as good as those Bulls teams, LeBron wouldn't have to do as much. His stats wouldn't be as good as they are, and things are definitely a lot different. So
Jordan had it more consistently throughout the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
LeBron and LeBron had to go to a stable organization and come back to show his organization how to be stable instead of where MJ's organization, they did the right thing by putting their stuff together because they saw what they had in front of them and
they had the organization.
they wrote the history the right way.
They had a coach.
Yes.
They had a good sidekick for him, and they had great role players around Jordan.
They kept
Just what it
rotating
is.
those great role players. You know how everyone was like, man, everyone's going to Miami in those last 2 years in Miami. Everyone was like, everyone's going to Miami.
They kind of had that system.
That's what the Bulls were doing those last 3 years
had
of Jordan's career, which was awesome, and it worked out. Well, last 3 years he was there.
He kind of had that, and then he bailed, and now, yeah.
Okay, I was talking about legacy of LeBron. The last thing I do want to point out was people coming out, right? And I know you kind of stepped to it and you admitted to it, so I'm not even going to try to throw you under the bus, all right? But people always came out when LeBron was drafted, it was, well, Carmelo's better, right? And then LeBron won the Rookie of the Year. When LeBron, but right before he took the Cavs to the finals in 2007, it was, well, Kobe's still the best player in the league, and then he did that on his own and he made the argument, right? And then it was D Rose, right after D Rose won the MVP, was, well, D Rose is the new face of the league. Mm-hmm. Shuts him down in a 7-game series, runs him out of the building, like completely killed him on defense in the fourth quarter, and then had one of his most monstrous series of all time. Mm-hmm. Curry, supposed to be the next face of the MVP, league, whatever, this, that, the next thing, the new best player in the world.
He beat him once, almost beat him twice, but that's okay. Go ahead.
But is this not like, can we stop? And can I throw Durant in there? Because wasn't he talked about as being a better player, taking over his LeBron? Can we finally stop and give LeBron his due credit and just let him be the best player in the league for a minute? Like, let him chill. Like, let him. Why is everybody always got to put him down and doubt him? This is his moment. Like, this was the best thing he's ever done in his career. This is his stamp.
I go back to when he won. I keep forgetting the year when he won with Miami. When he had the Ray Allen. When they beat the Spurs. Mm-hmm. What year was that?
2013.
That year is when I was like, okay. And then after everything was done, I was like, okay. Granted, Ray Allen saved his ass in the finals.
Yes, but LeBron had a triple-double in that Game 7 too. Like, don't forget that LeBron ended up having a monster game the game after that shot.
I think he was the best player at that point in time.
Yes.
I mean, when you win, I guess you are the best player, but is he the face of the league?
But I thought he was the best player. Like, even if he would have lost that series.
Define that. This is what I'm saying when people say, when we talk about the NFL, people are like, well, this is the best. Define that. What does that mean? What do you mean the best player?
He's the best player in all of
Define that.
basketball
What does that
right
mean?
now.
What does that mean?
Like, he's the best player playing basketball right now. He's
Physically?
the best player. Overall, just overall basketball. Like,
I mean, he's a champion, so I can't really argue at this point.
he's the best player. Why? Well, why? He's the best player
So
on the
Steph Curry
planet.
being a 2-time MVP back-to-back, making records, breaking his own record, that doesn't mean he's not the face?
I don't think he's better than LeBron James, though. That's the thing, is that everyone's always trying to throw
Oh,
LeBron
my.
off the top of the mountain, and he's always.
And
standing
you're always
tall.
trying to keep him up there because you love him. What's the difference?
But no, it's just that I think he actually is, though. Like, I think it's odd that people thought that Steph Curry. You just talked about for how long how bad Steph Curry was defensively.
So,
and all
okay,
we
yes or
talked
no, yes
about
or no.
is LeBron, how great
Yes
he
or
was
no, because you
defensively.
kind of avoided this question last time I
What's
brought
up?
up. And you're probably going to avoid it again because it doesn't matter. But if Golden State would have won, what's the conversation then? If Steph, I brought this up the last time.
As I said, I still think that LeBron would be the number 1 or 2 player of all time. So of course I still think
I'm
that
talking
LeBron's
about right
better
now.
than
I'm
Steph
talking about
Curry.
right now
Of
today.
course I would still, yes,
So,
I would absolutely. I thought that LeBron was a better player than Steph
Come
Curry. I thought that Steph Curry deserved the MVP, but you
So-
know how I feel about the MVP and the Heisman and all
Yeah,
of that.
you got that LeBron mentality. I got it.
Yeah,
Which
but I
he
said
only,
that-
he only
I
said
said-
that after he didn't win it. I got it.
I know, but I said that on the show. One of our first shows. Remember, I brought up the whole Heisman conversation because I was mad about the Manti Te'o thing a couple years ago. Anyways,
We're not talking about people without girlfriends. We're talking about the NBA. We're talking about. So you mean tell me?
That's my squad.
I mean, date a real woman.
He is now.
Is she a ghost?
No, she's real. It's crazy. He puts pictures of her on Instagram and stuff. I think it's just to prove it.
It's kind of creepy.
It's kind of funny. Yeah, because now he lives in San Diego, and it was. Like,
So he went from being a football star and
He plays for the
not
Chargers.
having a girlfriend to having a girlfriend and not being a superstar.
He plays for the Chargers. He's their best
I know he
linebacker
is.
right now. He's their best linebacker right now. He led them in tackles last year.
Anyway, so you mean to tell me that a man could be the best player, the king, the chosen one, back to back, be back to back MVP,
Does he not?
and he is still not better than LeBron James?
I think Draymond
That
Green's
doesn't
a better
make any
overall.
sense to
I
me.
think Draymond Green's a better overall player than Steph Curry. No, Draymond Green can do way more on a basketball floor than
Okay,
Steph Curry.
so is
Steph
Draymond
Curry's just
Green
a-
better than LeBron James?
Steph Curry is the best shooter we've ever seen.
So is Draymond,
like, hands down, not
is
even close.
So Draymond Green beat LeBron James twice. Is he the best? Is he the king of the NBA?
No, because
That doesn't make
I
any
think if
sense.
I think if Steph
you were
Curry,
LeBron, you lost twice.
I think
back to back.
I
you
think if
lost.
Steph Curry was on LeBron James' team shooting the way that he does, then LeBron would look just like Draymond Green. Yeah,
That doesn't make any sense.
but actually better than he would look. He would be a hybrid version of Draymond Green.
That doesn't make any sense. But at the end
Why?
of the day, that doesn't make any sense. If you lose, you lost once, which fair enough. But back to the same person, you're still the king.
But I'm trying to tell
You're
you
still
that
the
if
king.
you're alternating
You
these
still
same
gonna ride
people-
around on a
if you're
bicycle with
alternating- if you're
King James on
alternating-
it?
If you're alternating these same people, right?
That's
The one who always benefits the most,
Let's
right?
yeah,
the one who would
let's-
always be the best, right? Would be
Let's
LeBron.
take a hypothetical, make
the
it
team
more.
that would always win if you move these players around.
Sometimes
would
you
always
are
be the one
worse
with
than
LeBron
Skip
on it.
Bayless.
Anyways,
Because you take a hypothetical and make it even more of a hypothetical.
What about Curry? What about Curry's legacy? Can he bounce back?
Yeah, absolutely. He's young. He's too young. He's too good of a shooter.
I completely agree.
He's the
I hope
best shooter in the league.
I hope injuries don't hold him back though, because that's a big deal. I mean, I hope
Yeah, he's got to get his legs right.
he's gonna have surgery this offseason.
Don't turn into Derrick Rose.
Klay Thompson, I mean, he kind of like put himself in a bad position. His dad put himself in a bad position throughout that entire series.
So
he had
it's
a big,
Steph's girl,
he had
so
a
I
big
mean,
game
it is
6.
what it is.
Do you want to talk about that?
I do.
Okay, you can bring it up before we go any further.
I mean, everybody already knows the story. Steph girls got a little angry and felt that the finals were rigged, which, okay.
If they were, she benefited from it last year and in the regular season this year.
My thing is, people are act like, here's the thing, this is what trips me out about people. People only buy into shit when it's convenient for their argument.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, this is the same shit people say about every single sport. But when she said it, it was an issue. I'm not saying she was right or wrong. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. You are. But
I think these
her
are
saying
pushing
that-
directions. I don't think it's rigged.
her
no.
saying that, I don't think is an issue, is a problem. Everybody's like, oh, why would you say that? You always say that because you're losing. She's only saying what 90% of you on the internet say anyway.
I think
So
that,
why you act like you're
I don't disagree with what you're saying.
insulted with this phony outrage and shit?
I don't
Get off her
think
case. Should she have said it? No. She needs to. It sounds horrible, and I should word it better, but she should stay in her position,
Yeah,
meaning
yeah.
be in your place. Let your husband speak. Don't speak out for him, because that doesn't help
He
him.
doesn't come to your job.
That doesn't
and tell
help you.
He doesn't come to your job and tell your job what they're all doing
No.
wrong.
That just opens you up to be attacked and your family and him to be attacked. That's why it was probably deleted. He probably was like, girl, if you don't stop.
On top of it, it looks really bad considering they won 74 games and they won the championship the year before. Plus, he was unanimous MVP.
She brought it
really hard to.
She kind of brought it back afterwards. Afterwards,
she
kind of brought it back. But
emotion.
She had no business saying it. What did Herman Edwards say? Don't hit send. Stop hitting send.
You should read your tweets a couple times before you say it.
God damn. She need to eat a textbook too.
She shouldn't need a textbook. Somebody else should need a textbook. Anyways, but okay, so the Warriors have to figure out, right, because I said about Clay and Steph bouncing back. The Warriors have to figure out what they're going to do with Livingston, Bogut, and Barnes.
He's getting cut. Cut. Bye.
You were kind of talking a little trash on LeBron last time when they were down 3-1, saying the second they lose, who was he going to call?
KD.
And guess who Steph Curry is probably calling?
KD.
Kind of odd.
I actually,
little ironic.
I didn't think about it at one point. I was like, I wonder if KD's going to be like, oh, well, I mean, we could take him, bro.
They could.
I think KD. I don't think Steph called him. I think KD called him. I was like, yo, bro.
I don't disagree with that as well, but do you think they take him?
No, I don't think they need him. I think
they are a lot of hype.
They said they didn't need him. I don't think
Bogut said they didn't need him because Bogut gets cut if he comes. Like, Bogut's definitely cut the second he's on the team.
I don't think that solves the situation. I don't. What does he do that they don't already have? What does he do? Okay, he does a lot by himself that 3 other people already do on their own. They need, in my opinion, they need somebody to get some damn rebounds. He's not going to really fill that void.
I agree.
And they need a backup point guard that can really defend and take the leverage off of Curry. That's not him.
It's hard to say that a team that was tied in the NBA Finals in Game 7 for the last 4 minutes and 30-some seconds needs something to be better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me to be like, what is he going to do to make them that much better? Honestly, I don't know. Like, I guess in the regular season, nothing, but maybe in that Game 7, he would have scored more than 17 points and helped them. Like, I can't help you. Like, I honestly agree. I think it's kind of ridiculous. But if you have an opportunity to get Kevin Durant legitimately, and I know you hate the who's the better player, I think he's a top 3 player in the NBA. Like, I think he's one of the top 3 players right now. Like, so if you have the shot to get him, what are you gonna say? Of course you're gonna want him. Of course.
But then how much are you giving up for that? You're giving up.
You want to move Harrison Barnes and Sean Livingston anyways, yeah? So you have Green, you have Thompson.
I don't know about Livingston. I am in on Barnes.
Okay, well, Livingston can be his backup. You have Green, you have Thompson, you have Curry, you have KD. I mean, you could throw me or you out there as the 5th player, and I think they'd be okay.
Is Oklahoma going to want any of that?
Oklahoma, they don't have to. He's an unrestricted free agent. He can do what he wants. He can pick what he wants to do. And he said he's not going to sign the 1-on-1. He said at the moment he's not going to sign the 1-on-1. Personally, what I think he does, I think he signs the 1-on-1. I think he signs the 1-on-1 because, look, and I know you said, like, oh, that's cute last time I said this. Him and Westbrook are friends, man. Like,
that's adorable.
I do think they're going to give it one more shot, and I think if it doesn't work out this year, I think they both split because neither of them like Oklahoma City.
That's cool. I need one of them to
The
come
Oklahoma
over.
City media was kind of sounding a little salty today, too, when he said that he wasn't going to opt in, which he had the opportunity to opt in. Speaking of, because the only other top free agent to talk about would be Dirk. They were talking about Dirk maybe being the center and moving Draymond to the 4 next year as the Warriors.
He's never leaving now. Let's just cut that.
He opted out. He opted out this morning.
He's humoring them. He's not leaving. There's no way.
He took a really big pay cut for them to sign Wesley Matthews. Like,
does he want a ring? Is that his argument?
Yeah, I think. Well, he took a really big. He went from getting paid like $20-some million to getting paid $8 million last year, and all they mustered up in these last 2 years was Wesley Matthews. He's not happy.
I'm trying to think. Where the hell would he even go? He's not going to San Antonio. I don't think he wants to play with LeBron.
What do I always say? If they can't find a place to go, we'll take him over here in Philly.
You can afford him. You always take washed-up power forwards.
We can afford him.
It's right up your alley.
Well, okay, so does LeBron leave Cleveland?
God, oh my God, I really have no idea. No
way.
He filled his obligation. I don't think he. If he's a man,
I meant to ask you.
If he's any type of a man that you say he is,
I got you.
He's not leaving.
I don't think he's going to leave. Personally, I don't think he's going to leave. But I do think that he doesn't like Dan Gilbert. He didn't grow up a Cleveland sports fan. Okay, like his favorite baseball team is the Yankees. His favorite football team is the Cowboys. His favorite.
That disgusts me.
His favorite basketball team growing up, he said, was the Bulls. He never grew up a Cleveland fan, right, of their sports teams and bases. He didn't feel the pain.
So he's a fraud?
No, because he did promise them. I don't think he's a fraud because he did promise them a championship before he left, and then he left. So he felt like he needed to come back and obligate that to his home city. But he didn't feel the pain that they felt all those years, right? And It's hard for him to burn the image of them burning his jersey. Yes, I mean, especially when he made a decision
definitely.
that I know you and I don't agree with, but I think he did to better himself because an organization wasn't there to help him and they weren't trying to support him and they weren't bringing the players that he wanted in. So I understood why he left to go better himself, and that Miami thing ends up being the best thing for him because he learned how to win a championship there, obviously. Look at what he did. He came back with a whole new mentality, and he won it for him.
That's fine. I'm not getting into this argument.
But my thought is I don't think it would be crazy to see him pick up and leave because he keeps on the one-on-ones. He doesn't like Dan Gilbert, so he could be toying with them, and he doesn't have as much obligation or connection to the fan that most people in their home city and hometown would because A, he didn't grow up a sports fan of them, and B, he already saw them displace him once just like they saw him do that. So it's one of those things where I think it'd be a lot easier, and he wants to go play with his friends. He wants to win more championships.
Yeah, it's funny you brought that up.
Can he continue to win championships with? I think Kyrie Irving, yes, but will Kevin Love be a part of the equation? All these things need to be answered, obviously, before he would decide. But
will Kevin Love be a part of the equation? Absolutely not. Here's the thing.
Do I think one? Stone Cold 316 doesn't stay.
Apparently, the Ultimate Warrior is trying to. I don't know.
Anyway, so yes.
It's funny. Is LeBron staying or going? I don't know. I think if he's a man, he's going to stay at least one more year. I think it would just be right to be a part of that celebration.
I'd like to see him try to repeat with them.
It would only make sense from that perspective. I do think it's funny because that kind of ties into what I want to get into, which I'm sure you feel some type of way about, and I feel completely different about, which is fine. His Instagram post that he made.
I don't like that he says all the time that he doesn't follow the media, and then he talks about everything that the media says about him.
You know how I tell you he makes it so easy for people to get on him?
Uh-huh.
He really does. And this is just another prime example of that. Everything that not everything, a lot of what he said, for example, they said this is the shit he was saying. They said you could have won with Kyrie. They said, you fired the coach. They said you and Kevin Love. They said da-da-da. Well, I'm just saying, sipping my tea is none of my business, though. Bruh.
Did they say that?
Most of those things were caused by you. Your Twitter beef, your subliminal messages in your conferences, your subliminal messages in your tweet. This is shit that is caused by you. You bring this unnecessary attention on yourself, so yet again, don't play the victim in this situation. You got the last word, you won the championship, you wore your little Ultimate Warrior and the fucking Kermit the Frog hat. Go with that. Cool. Now I don't want to hear from you. You're playing the victim again. This is what he does, and this is why it's so easy to get on him, dude.
What was my counter argument to you before on that one? Michael was getting in people's faces, right? But
That's fine. I'm cool with talking shit.
Hold on. Here's my thing: is then Kobe was getting in people's faces, and he actually was getting killed for it, and his teammates didn't respond well. I'm not saying that LeBron's right or wrong for doing it, but I mean, you're talking about those subliminal things.
You know why else he's a hypocrite in that situation?
It worked.
He's the bigger man. Then why did you make that post then, bro?
But it worked.
You're the bigger man. He's not going to make comments
enough and scared enough in those players to play harder, and it got their attention enough because him yelling at them or telling them.
He said that after they already won.
But he said these. But you're saying he said all these things in the middle of the season, right? Obviously,
I'm saying no. I'm talking about his incident.
I know. But you were saying he says these subliminal things throughout the year or whatever. Right. Well, yeah. Obviously,
did it motivate the team? I don't know. They were down 3-1. How motivated were they at one point?
I don't disagree, but I mean,
stop playing the victim, bro.
There's the counter argument to it. Like there is something to that. I don't think there's a counter
argument. And he caused most of this.
2016, man. Like,
and then in the same playoff run. You said, I'm a bigger man. I'm just not going to say anything. And then when you win, you that type of dude, just like when you got the MVP, you want to make a subtle hint at Steph Curry getting MVP and Steve Kerr getting the Coach of the Year. It's only when you either win or don't win it, like depending on, he goes with whatever argument benefits him in the situation.
When you and When you and I talk facts and stats,
Stop
right?
Playing a victim, bro. You won. Quiet now.
The things you have to say about him are usually not wrong or whatever. My thing is that the people are because
do people get on him? Yes.
You and I criticizing him is different than looking at his Instagram posts and reading the things that are being said to him, or looking on his Twitter and reading things like he's dealing with so much more people saying 10 times worse things than you and Skip Bayless have ever said about him.
Which is why him getting mad at Draymond calling him a bitch is ridiculous.
But that's why he wants to come. I agree with that. But that's why he wants. But everything he does gets cut down to that exact point where him even just saying something in saying something that he answered a question to and he didn't actually even say those exact words, but yet it was put together, and that's what everyone is always going to say about about it, and that's how it's going to be remembered. Those kind of things, like he lives his life literally under that kind of microscope. So yes, I'm with you. I'm with you that yes, like he plays the victim and whatnot. But my man he's out here saying yes, you guys are in my news feed saying this. You guys are on my TV saying this. You guys are doing this, saying this. I'm here saying this, and I don't disagree with you because yes, it is petty, it is small, and it's not something that I think he should do. But
I'm cool.
I don't disagree with. It's his life. Like,
he could have. I'm
not living in his world, dealing with the things that he deals with every day. It's way worse than what we can imagine.
Absolutely. Did he have a right to say something? I think so. But his points that he made, I think. Like I said, I think he brought a lot of that on himself, and it was just like. But maybe then you contradict yourself with the whole. Well, I'm gonna be the big man. Well, were you just the big man when you made that post? Were you a bigger man when you wore that shirt and that hat?
And as I started the conversation,
you're playing both ends, bro.
As I started the conversation out, he says he doesn't pay attention to it, and then the first thing he did was come back and say something about it. But my thing is like, what if he was trying to say, you said I ran my coach out of town? Well, what if he was trying to say, and what if I did?
Have we not been saying he's a GM the whole time?
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I'm saying, what if he's looking those back in the eyes and saying, well, what if I did? What's up? What if I did? Like, what happened?
You got the game. Congratulations. You were down 3-1 at one point. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got that ring. Yeah. Nobody would take that from you. Yeah. And nobody would talk about how you got it. But you were down 3-1. So, I mean, were you really in the right? Because when you were down 3-1, everybody had, again, completely different conversation. It's it's amazing how that flipped real quick.
But, I mean...
He won at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay. So
as much shit as I want to talk on him, congratulations.
So we both think he stays in Cleveland?
Sure. I'm just going with that for now.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about it a little further. We got to get past the draft first. So quickly, the Sixers announced on Tuesday that they were going to... Well, they didn't announce it. Apparently, Cleveland.com somehow got information. This is very weird to me that Cleveland.com reported it.
Maybe LeBron's a reporter now.
Maybe. I don't know. But that Ben Simmons was told by the Sixers that he will be the first overall pick by the Sixers.
I did see that.
I said... Last show, quickly, I was like, I want them to pick him. I hope he's the guy, like, whatever. So, I mean, I've been on that train for a while. I think it's a very clear one. Ingram's going to go to the Lakers from Duke. I think Ingram's going to be the better player in the first year, but I think the ceiling for Ben Simmons is higher. I think he has more of an almost Andrew Wiggins type ceiling compared to where Ingram is always going to be more of like a, I don't know, a step behind Carmelo. Like, and that's not a bad thing, but like I just think that the difference is that minute. And the Sixers also, I think that Simmons will fit more of what they're looking for than Ingram. Ingram is going to do a... He wouldn't be the centerpiece right off the bat, and they're going to need somebody to step in there, especially because a lot of guys are coming back for the Sixers. Anyways.
There's a whole lot of irrelevant talk.
I know you're not excited about it because you hate college basketball. You don't hate college basketball. You hate anything unproven. That's why you hated LeBron for so long.
Yes.
You hate things that just don't... and like
Don't pretend to be great when you're not.
And I understand that it takes a very long time for these things to happen, especially at the most elite level that they're playing. So that's why I get excited about these things.
You get excited about these things because this is all you've had to live on for the past 15 years.
Yeah, like 5. They were 1 game away from the Eastern Conference Finals.
And then you blew up the team. Got it. Go ahead.
So, that's about it on the draft then, because you're not in on it at all. And that's okay. It's not a big deal.
I just hope the Lakers don't pick up a snitch.
Our followers feel the same way you do.
Can you just not pick up a snitch?
What I think about it. No, they won't. But D'Angelo Russell made a really cool commercial.
They'll be breaking up relationships.
Talking to Ben Simmons, which is now going to be the Sixers pick, but they were talking about, what not to do and what to do on Snapchat.
Don't break up relationships. I'll be a homewrecker.
Last topic, unless you have more to talk about. I don't follow WWE as closely as you do, but there was big news out of WWE. Roman Reigns. Not CM Punk. Okay, Roman Reigns.
There's never any CM Punk news.
Still not sure what exactly it was for.
No, this is like day-breaking news as we're recording.
He's going to get suspended for 30 days.
Oh,
I'll let you have the floor for this.
Well, I guess, he's not a bad guy. He's not a good guy. Hell, he's not even the guy now.
He was the guy.
No, he's just a suspended guy now.
For 30 days.
For 30 days. The chosen one.
So where was he at, storyline-wise? Like, like...
Here's the thing.
Catch us up.
I just want to, just really quickly.
Yeah.
Because it trips me out because I'm looking at everything on the internet, and he came out, and I don't want to go too long on this shit.
Okay.
Basically, he came out and he apologized. He apologized to his family, his friends, WWE, all fans, everything, right? He wholeheartedly accepted whatever he did, which it was a wellness thing. So typically, not all the time, but typically WWE, it's historically been steroids or marijuana usage for their Recently, there was also a guy that got caught up with his ADD medicine. It was a whole mess situation, whatever.
Yeah.
But typically, 9 times out of 10, historically, it's been marijuana or steroids. Who knows what it is? It could be neither one of those things regardless. He's suspended. He messed up the drug policy. Here's the thing. The only reason I wanted to bring this up, because I think it trips me up when I'm reading on the internet, everybody's saying, well, it's fake. It's a storyline-wise. And I'm looking at that, and I saw a couple of them. I kind of laughed. I was just like, maybe. That's funny, whatever. But I saw a lot. Like, that was kind of gaining momentum. I didn't understand it. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, dude, people are either like 13 years old and or they don't understand how business works.
Right.
Roman Reigns for the past, 3 or 4 years has been being built up into this star that he is. Seemingly, they built him to the successor of a John Cena.
Okay.
Has it worked out? No, you can argue that. More likely, I will lean towards the no, it has not worked out at all.
At least to this point, right.
But they put him on this pedestal. They made him the guy, as the stupid,
Saying, yeah.
catchphrase is gone.
Right.
He's been that guy. So up until this point, last night on Monday Night Raw, he was booked in a situation where coming into the next pay-per-view, he's going to be in a triple threat for the world title. To me, you don't put a guy, you don't say on Monday Night Raw, this is going to be the main event of the next pay-per-view. We're going to have a triple threat. Roman's going to be in the pay-per-view for the world title. And then the next day suspend him in a storyline. That makes absolutely no sense. That kills your 3 years of credibility. That kills the pay-per-view main event that you wanted. That's blasphemous to me. It makes absolutely zero sense. Yeah. And then some people are saying, well, maybe the WWE's trying to save up for because they felt that the 3 guys should have been the main event of the following month pay-per-view, which was SummerSlam. They feel like WWE's just saving up that great main event for a SummerSlam. If they wanted that, they would have made that decision 2 days ago.
Yeah, they would have had that already planned.
At their previous pay-per-view when all this was brought out. But they didn't do that. This is legitimate. I need people to relax, understand business from a business perspective. From a storyline perspective, none of that makes sense. It's clearly a real thing. So, it's a shame. It kills his momentum.
I was gonna say, well, where does this go with now? With the
dude, I don't know. God. Well, with the pay-per-view situation, I don't know. I don't really care.
A new main event.
Well, he's in a triple threat. It might become a one-on-one situation. What, nigga?
His suspension is up 3 days prior to the main event.
I don't see that happening. His suspension is up 3 days prior to the main event.
Will they still have him fight?
There's no way that can happen, in my opinion, because there's a situation where you got how many more weeks now to build up a main event.
Yeah, different one.
He's not going to be there to
be involved.
Build up. No, he's suspended. He's going to be off of television. So to me, you are somehow going to get written off in some capacity. How? I don't know. I don't make those damn decisions. But to me, you're going to get written off. Does he get back into his role following the suspension? I guess it depends on how severe the penalty was and what he took. Yeah. He might be the main event at SummerSlam, win a damn belt back.
Yep,
it's possible.
Okay,
but I don't think it's logical to say that it's part of a storyline and WWE just fucking with us. No, that makes absolutely no sense. It's all about the money. WWE is all about their image right now, and this is why they had to suspend him, even if they didn't want to. They are too PC, they're too Disney. They're not going to not cut him if he did something against their policy.
Well, we will see what's happening moving forward, and we will keep tabs on the story of the future of Roman Reigns and what happens. We'll definitely touch base a little bit on the WWE. There might be a little break involved. I want to try to get some games, but I know you don't like who's the best player at this position and things like that. But I don't know. I want to do
it's June. We got way
too early prediction of what's happening in the NFL, things like that.
That feature is all the way over.
I know, and I'm so excited. And plus, there's a lot of baseball we can talk about. I know you're.
Look, can we get a producer first, or can I just get a break?
USA is playing Argentina this week, so I could try to recap that next week.
You want to talk about that for an hour?
No. We'll cover some things. We will find things. The draft is happening. I'll try to get you excited about the Lakers pick next week. So, things like that. So, thank you for watching. That was JD Sports. I'm Jared Hood. That's Dwight Garfield.
Eat that textbook.